Well, maybe it had never been like that, but it had been almost like that. Sometimes. And those were the times I tried to remember. But somehow the sweetness always soured. One time we went to the market. I forget which one, probably Petticoat Lane or Brick Lane or one of those poncy ones with expensive gear for tourists. Maybe it was Portobello Market. They changed a lot since I was a kid, these markets. Back then you bought cheap boots for a tenner. Now you bought cheap rip-offs for £100. So we went, me and Brenda. It was a Monday, and we both had the day off. This was only a couple of weeks or so after we'd started going out. I'd picked her up at her flat. She'd invited me in and made me a cup of tea. She'd made an effort, makeup and perfume and all. She brought the tea in and handed it to me, and I told her she looked nice. She smiled, that broad, open smile, her eyes sparkling for a moment. She looked young when she did that. But then the smile would fade, and a sadness would creep into her eyes. I would think it was me who'd caused that. I'd think that I wasn't what she was looking for. I wasn't the romantic type. I didn't know what to say, how to act. So I'd always be expecting her to tell me it was over. But just when I'd think that, she'd smile at me and take my arm and push herself close to me, and I'd start to think that maybe I had a chance after all. The market was busy. It was summer and hot, and there were tourists and locals squeezed along the road, between stalls that sold cloth and handbags and leather jackets that smelled warm in the warm air. Brenda tottered along on her high heels, picking things up and showing them to me and saying stuff like, "What do you think, Joe? Does it make me look sexy?" I could never tell if she was making fun of me. I didn't much care if she was. She had that spark in her eyes. She was enjoying herself. That was all I cared about. At one stall, she tried on a pair of shoes and asked how much they were. The bloke said he'd let her have them for 50. She put them back. "I'll think about it," she said. Finally, she brought some makeup stuff, beauty cream, that kind of thing. But then something happened to her. She froze, and I looked at her and saw that her gaze was on something in the distance. I looked but could only see a crowd of people. I asked her what was wrong, but she only said it was too busy for her. She didn't like so many people, she said. She dumped the creams in the plastic bag the woman had given her. Then she took my arm and said she was hungry. I was hungry too. I'd been hungry for a couple of hours. She dragged me to a greasy spoon well away from the market. We had burgers and chips. She ate in silence, and that spark was gone from her eyes. I wondered about that. When we were having coffee, she opened the bag of stuff she'd bought and fished through it all and then put the bag down on the floor. "Shit," she muttered. I asked her what was wrong. "Oh, it's nothing." "What?" She sighed. "I'm annoyed with myself, with this lot, this junk." "Why'd you buy it?" "I don't know. Retail therapy, I suppose. Only I can't afford to really treat myself, so I buy this crap, when what I really want is something really nice." She looked at me, waiting, so it seemed. Then she went back to drinking her coffee, and I went back to drinking mine, thinking there was something she was waiting for me to say, not knowing what it was. I felt a fool around her sometimes. I felt old and ugly and stupid. Usually I didn't care about all that, but with her... "You haven't been out with many women, have you?" she said. The coffee cup had been halfway to her mouth. Now she put it down. I thought about what she'd asked me. I'd been with women, of course, but out with them? "No," I said. "Not really." "You see," she said quietly, "you're supposed to buy something for me." And then I went cold, and a kind of fear hit me in the guts. I call it fear, but I'm not sure that's right. I don't know that I have the words for it. I'd known fear lots of times. You couldn't live like I had and not know it, but it was always a kind of good fear. It was something you could get hold of.